everyone, Kim here. This is our May 2024 month in review, monthly favorites. And I'm going to do it in different parts because there's a lot to cover. I normally like to do this as a live stream, but I wanted to get everything done, spoken on about what happened in May and what I was loving on in May. Because the next time we get together during a live stream, I want to employ something, bibliomancy readings, and I'm hoping to discuss those things with you during a live stream, or maybe even do bibliomancy readings for a couple of you. So stay tuned. There will be a notification that a live stream is coming. So that's why I'm doing this in video form. It's been raining here all week in the Dominican Republic, on and off, and I'm personally loving it. Is it great for internet? No. But is it great for my comfort? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The rain has been a lovely thing. So that's another reason why I had to do this in video format versus a live, because I'm like, it's looking a little precarious. At least with me doing bibliomancy readings, I can be in and out. In case like the internet just goes completely out, then it's like, okay, we'll reconvene later. But this is important. I want to share with you all what I've been up to, some musings that have been coming through. And I definitely want to hear from you on what you were loving in the month of May in terms of decks or crystals or other, metaphysical tools, sprays, incense, any of the things. Share in the comment section down below. It's been a minute. I'm still planning on coming back to do Mystery Mystic series and Maritime Mysteries. I'm just taking a much needed break. It has been really good for me to just take a breather, a break. I actually even gifted myself a 3-day weekend for Memorial Day, and it was lovely. And I'm grateful that I'm just slowing things down. I really, when I do those types of readings, I always emphasize I want to give my best. And if I'm not feeling well or I'm not feeling at my best, then it's not good for me to be doing those types of readings. And meanwhile, I've been super busy with readings with my private clients. And so I have to also reserve energy for them. And then there's regular Kim. There's Kim who likes to Netflix and chill a lot. That's like my happy place. There's Kim, who's a mom of adult children who still need their mom, and of a 13-year-old, and a wife, and all the things. So there's all this stuff going on in life. And you all know that. Life be lifing, and that's okay. So yeah, I will be getting back to I still am taking recommendations for like colder cases or cases that don't get much attention. And we just put it out there. Lots developing there in terms of certain cases we've covered. There's been developments in some of those cases, and I'm always grateful for that. Like, oh, movement. Because once I know of a person's disappearance or mysterious death, I end up following that case. Like, they're now a part of like my energy. Like, I want to focus and think about and pray upon, a person being found or the truth being revealed. And that you do that for every single thing and every single one, you're going to be mentally taxed. So May has been a lovely month. My keyword for the month of May was epiphany. And it's a keyword that I use as inspiration for content for my Poised to Leap members. Check it out. We do have some openings at the membership tiers. I do hope you all see what we're up to. Like for June, our reading lab is tarot and numerology. Don't worry, I never overwhelm the people I'm mentoring when I'm teaching on learning the cards. I want to break it down in a way that it just makes sense and it's easy to understand. And we practice during reading lab. So check out the membership. I have a lot going on. And to that end, I want to show you all something that I've been up to. I got to show you. And then we're going to get into the decks. But this is what I've been working on. So I do mentoring and coaching, whether people want to learn how to work with the cards or they want to deepen their spiritual practice, or maybe they're working on something that's not even remotely like magical or mystical. They are trying to manifest something in their life. People work with me this way. They can work with me on a membership basis or one-off services. I have here like consultation here under the services tab. This is on Ko-fi, by the way. So if you all are contemplating having a spiritual business or something to supplement your social media work that you're doing on TikTok or your channel, think about, instead of Patreon, think about Ko-fi. Ko-fi is something to not sleep on. Anyways, Ko-fi has this option where you can have a shop. And so I've been busy adding to the shop, adding video series with like PDF attachments for you to learn certain things. For example, directionality and movement in the cards. I just added that to the shop. And the wands, I'm breaking down the suits. We just recently covered the wands, but before that we covered the cups. Next, then will be the swords, and finally the pentacles. They're coming out every other month. I have video series on pricing strategies if you want to go pro with your readings, depending on what, if you want to do in person or you want to offer readings virtually through your website or through some other means virtually, Etsy or some other means. We have that covered too. And then there's the hotlines. So there's a lot of information here that I've packaged up. And since I'm just starting this is my new shop. I'm offering 20% off for a limited time. The coupon code is in the description box. And check it out. And my members get either free access or very low cost access to some of these video series. And a lot of the video series are inspired by the reading labs and the meetings that we do as a group together or one-on-one. That's what inspired what I've added to the shop. And then the membership tier. There's something for everyone, friends. There's something for everyone here. And so that's what I've been busy, just, working more in smaller groups, one-on-one or in small groups virtually on Zoom. Each month we get together 2 or 3 times a month as a group. And then there's the tiers that do one-on-one sessions with me. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Now, I wanted to also share with you about my depth year. As you all know, I'm in a low buy 2024 depth year. I've done a full-on depth year experience in 2020, and that proved to be like life-changing, honestly, because here I am now as a result of going through a depth year in 2020, and now I'm living in a whole new country and like doing different things. And this depth year is no exception in terms of epiphanies starting to come through. So one of the epiphanies that came through recently this month is I don't know how I feel about collecting decks anymore. I don't think I'm getting rid of my collection. I didn't say all that. I'm saying that I'm feeling very much at a full moon, almost to waning cycle in my collecting habits. Those of you who have followed my channel for a while know we talk about our collecting habits in moon phases. Moon phases, are you acquiring decks, waxing? Are you fully satiated? Or like maybe you're just starting out, that's the new moon phase. Or maybe you're restarting your connection to collecting decks or collecting crystals or whatever you're collecting. And then you go into waxing and you're collecting and acquiring things. And then you go to full moon where you feel pretty satiated. If you get a deck, you give a deck away, or you sell a deck, you get a new deck, but everything is pretty much staying the same number. And then waning is when you start to go, you start to maybe do some deck decluttering. You are downsizing your collection. You are selling them or trading your decks or whatever you're collecting. So I'm getting to this place with my collection where I just don't feel the need or desire to really voraciously be looking for new decks. Now, it ebbs and flows. And I am a professional reader, so there will be times when I need to get a deck because it serves a specific purpose for my reading practice. However, I just feel like for the sake of collecting, I'm not there anymore. And I'm at peace with that. And I've gone through this phase before, but it feels a little different. Like I'm now wanting to be very intentional about where I want my money to go. It could go to supporting a friend in need or a cause I believe in. I have plenty of decks to get to know and to deepen my connection with. So it's interesting that I started this low buy depth year in January, and I'm just now having this epiphany in May. But hey, it came. To that end, I still bought a deck. Still bought a deck. And I'll show you why in a moment. Because then, well, you'll understand a little, maybe a little. So I ended up buying a deck on Etsy from Moon House Studio. Lovely deck creator and artist. I do have two of the decks that goes with this one that I just bought. Let me show you. So I was gifted by a dear subscriber friend of me and the channel these two decks, the Wandering Moon Tarot, and I've wanted this forever. It's like on my wish list. And then she also, and you know who you are. I didn't name, I'm not spilling the name, but you know who you are. Thank you so much. The Wandering Echo, Major Arcana, Rachel Jean. Now it could be Raquel Jean. I don't know. Let me know. But nevertheless, I was gifted those decks, and I had, for the longest time since 2022, had the Wandering Soul Oracle on my wish list, like December 2022. And it went on sale, and I was like, I just felt like I want to add this to round out my collection because I was kindly gifted these, right? And I wanted to round out the collection. So I ordered the Wandering Soul Oracle, and I can't wait to get it. I can't wait to work with these decks. I now have an intuitive hit on how I want to work with these decks in my spiritual practice. And I'm looking forward to it. So I did order it. Let me show you. Like, look at that. I love the simplicity, and I love the black and white. I'm in love. I'm in love. I've been wanting this deck forever. Many of you probably have it, or maybe you don't. But yeah, I ordered this one. So there's that. Ordered this, and they're gonna go with these two. And then I will finally do like a mega like deck flip through of all of them, try to fit it all together into one. We'll see if I'm successful. Just do a mega deck quick flip through and my impressions of the decks. So stay tuned for that. That will come when I finally get the Wandering Soul Oracle here. It's going to be a while. So there's the shipping situation. I did finally get my Food Fortunes Oracle, or not Oracle. To me, it feels like an Oracle deck. I know it's a tarot deck. It's 78 cards, but it feels very Oracle-y to me. But I got it finally, and I used it for a client reading thus far. Where are you? So I am smitten, but I want to show you all something. So here's the card backs. Here is the deck. Food Fortune. I like it. I actually like it. I was like a little surprised. It's like the penny that I liked it so much. But to me, it feels very oracle-y. I know you can read it with it as a tarot. I know you can, but I'm just treating it differently. That's how we roll over here. we do our own thing. Yeah. So I got it and I really like it. And I have a feeling I'm going to be using more of it. So now I have two food oracle decks. So let me show you. The food healing oracle deck. I'm thinking about getting like the second edition, but also in this little mini size. And now I have the food fortunes. Now, there is another food tarot deck out on Kickstarter. Now, there was one that just wrapped, the Gourmet Tarot, and I literally missed out within a matter of like 2 or 3 days. Like it closed. I don't see a pre-order anywhere in sight with that deck, and I really wanted it, but that's fine. But now let me show you all. Is this it? I don't think this is it. What is it called? I'm not going to remember it. Let me go to Kickstarter. So first, let me show you what. This is what I wanted to get, but it funded, yay. But I sent a message on Instagram, like, are you going to do a pre-order? Like, what's going on? I hadn't heard back. Truth be told, I'm not very good at Instagram anymore. So maybe they did get back. I don't know. But this is one I wanted. But now I'm trying to find, let me go to Cedar McLeod. Cedar McLeod, creator of the Numinous Tarot. Let me see. I don't want it. That's a full deck too. I was hoping I could get. Oh boy, they just don't make it easy, do they? All right. The Magic Pantry Tarot. That's what I want. That's what I want. There we go. Now this one is active on Kickstarter by the creator of the Numinous Tarot. Let me show you. I backed this deck many years ago now, and Cedar McLeod is the creator. And I have this one. And this one is a food deck as well. It's a food themed deck. It has reached and exceeded its goal on Kickstarter. And it's cool. And I was tempted to get it, but I was like, girl, you just got the Food Fortunes Tarot. I want to say Oracle so bad. You just got it. Pull it together. Pull it together. But I was tempted. I was hoping to show you all some of the images on this Kickstarter. It is still active. You still have 22 days to go. So, yeah. We have here 79 cards. It has 2 full cards, one with eggs and one with tofu. I can't stand tofu, so I would keep the one with eggs. I would literally take the tofu one out. I cannot stand it. I know, like a lot of people are like, no, it's how you prepare it. I get all that. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, but I was intrigued by this one as well. I am. I'm tempted to get it. Ah, there's Cedar. Okay. Cedar Wren McLeod, a queer autistic ADHD disabled artist and author living in Southern California with their partner and cat. And I will never give this deck up. I use it from time to time. But yeah, so I have no doubt that this deck that is coming, this, tastiness of a tarot deck that we have here on Kickstarter, I have no doubt that it will it'll be successful, it seems. I'm looking at the cards. I am intrigued. I want the pickles. Look at that. There's a pickles card. Look at the devil has mushrooms, hot sauce with the like. I really want this deck, so I'm sitting on it. I'm thinking about it. I'm pondering it, but I'm also at just a space like you've got all that you need for your decks. Enjoy the ones you got, and really be intentional about where you are directing your money. You know what's important. I'm probably going to be sharing with you all either in this video or its own standalone video, like some landscaping plans I got to do with my yard. Like it's like priority now. So that's probably where my money's really going to be going. So there you have it. I think I've shown you all everything, but before I want to share one more thing about Poised to Leap. So if you join at the Moon Dancer level, I just want to give you an idea of what's upcoming. We meet up every other month for that meeting. And we're going to be talking about casting with like gems, like, throwing bones or shells or dice or charms. There's all sorts of things people cast. And so we'll be just getting together, those who are new to it and those who are very seasoned. And so that's going to be fun for the month of June. I have on my website a list of what's coming up. So you can find that under the ALT tab. I'll show you on my website. There I am, right up there, the first one. And in reading labs, June, like I mentioned before, is tarot and numerology. Then July is Learn the Swords. We're going to be deep diving into the swords, which is one of my favorites because I'm an air sign. So I'm very partial to air energy. And color associations in Oracle and Tarot, that's in August. We're going to learn the Pentacles in September. You can start your membership anytime. It's very easy peasy. And yeah, I hope you join me, whether you work with me at the higher tiers where we meet up frequently in the month, or we just meet up once a month, whatever you're comfortable with. So join me. I'm very proud of what we got going on over there. It's near and dear. It's where I've been. It's where I've been hanging out. So now I think I've shared everything that needed to be shared. And back to my death year, I need to get back to that for a moment. So I had a budget of $250 for the year. And that was to include like when I need to get prototype decks of like my true crime deck. I have my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle and any other deck I'm creating. And I'm deciding to release my Ancestral Healing Oracle. And I'm working on the card backs and stuff like that. So that's going to actually eat up the rest of my budget. I have spent so far, I don't know how much I spent, but what I have remaining is $127.33. And I have to save that. Or I thought about just saying, okay, Kim, the 250 is for decks that, are not necessarily work related, business related. So it's just for your play and pleasure. But then I was like, there's not really any other decks I'm really called to get. Like I see beautiful decks out there and I'm just like, yeah, I like what I got and I'm happy and satiated with my collection. So yeah, I have a balance as of May 29th of $127.33. So yeah, that's what I got. But that's okay. That's absolutely a-okay. I like that I had set such a low budget. You're talking to a person, Kim, me, where there was a time I was spending like $1,500 a year on decks at least. And to now be at a, just a small amount and not feeling this urge or need to get all the decks, it's really a nice space to be. Tell me where you're at in your collecting journey. Tell me also what you got your hands on this month as well, because I talk all this mess, but I still managed to get a deck. But I just felt called to complete that collection. Like when you're a deck collector, There's certain decks you're like, ah, that needs to go with its fellow little companion friends and can round out a deck collection. Now, of course, that creator has more decks I could get, but I felt like the three just works. So yeah, that's what I got. So now I want to share with you all the decks I was loving on. I'm trying to get to my spreadsheet in May. So you saw what I got, what I purchased. But let me start with Oracle first. Let's get Oracle out of the way. We have Abiola Abrams, African Goddess Oracle. And you know how you have those decks that you don't know why, but it just sits on your shelf for a while. And I just didn't use this deck very often. Just didn't. It's all right. It's all good. I'm not getting rid of it, nothing like that. I like it. It just, I didn't use it. And it had maybe been a year since I had really used it. And then I felt called to pull cards with it. And the most powerful message came through. And it was a, message for myself and the Poised Elite members. I like to do weekly readings for the group. And sometimes if we meet up during open office hour, I feel called to like pull a card for folks. We meet up during once a month for open office hours, like an hour lunchtime, we get together. But it was just so powerful, the message that came through. And I'm like, oh my God. At the same time, my oldest son was visiting Brazil. He just came back last week, back to the States, and he had been there for, it seemed like almost a month. And he got a deck for me. And the deck that he got, and this is Hay House, by the way, was this deck, but in Portuguese. And I was like, that's so cool. So sweet. And he was like, I knew the deck looked familiar when he saw it. And then I sent him a picture of this deck. And I was like, I have the English version, but I will definitely take the Portuguese version. And yeah, it was so sweet. He thought of me. He knows I love when my peeps go around the world and then they pick up decks, even if it's in another language, and bring it back to me. Like my sister gave me a deck that's in Spanish, and I love it, love it, love it. So it's a thing, and I was touched. So, but I didn't know. It wasn't until like a couple of days later that he sent me a picture saying, "Oh, I got you some souvenirs." And this is one of them. And I was like, I just used this deck like 2 days ago, and I hadn't used it in like a whole year. I was blown away by that. I was blown away by it. Let me show you some of my favorites. And I know like Aviola has a new deck that came out, and I'm checking it out, sitting with it to see if it makes sense to add to my collection. This is a gorgeous one. Yeah, so I'll do one more. Have that. Oh, one more. Oh, look at the self-sabotage card. Gorgeous. I mean, all of them are just divine. And I will link in the description box my full flip through of this deck. So you can check it out if you want to see my take on or my impressions of the deck back when I first got it. So yeah, had a magical moment with this one on many different fronts. Next Oracle deck I want to talk about, where are you in my mess of decks? Is my very own One with the Earth Oracle. Now the card backs are different. Let me show you on the website. I really like this deck because sometimes you don't, it's not a love question, or you just don't need a love Oracle deck. You just want something straight up that just triggers your intuition, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. I'm going to share with you all. As we go to the website, and I'm going to go to decks for sale. The card back is this one right here, one with the Earth Oracle. I changed it for when I put it up for sale, but this is my personal copy. This is back when I was like, oh, I'm just making this for myself to use in readings for myself and for clients. And yeah. And then people kept asking, well, can you just put it up for sale? I was like, okay. I'm like, fine. But, I don't go around just like, oh, buy the decks. But I'm one of those people that really resonates with like oracles that feel like pictures. Like I'm looking at pictures. It harkens back to the days when I was a little girl, and I've talked about on the channel before, where I was like, oh, I went cross country and I collected postcards, and I used the postcards as forms of like exploration, looking at the images. The more intricate the image, the more delighted it made me as a kid, just because you're on a road trip and all I'm doing is collecting postcards and studying them and listening to 80s music as we go across the country. I mean, it was fabulous, but it was how I passed time. It makes sense to me now, my older self, when I dig it, when I dig Oracle. Yeah, succulents. Yeah, it works well in love readings too. Works well in just general readings. Urge. So there you go. Together. I intentionally made it where it was not like romantic in the least. Like it could just be used in career readings. It could be used in life purpose readings. It could be used in spiritual readings, or yes, relationship readings. So there's that. I need to get a new copy. So I work with it. I've used it in all sorts of readings, mystery, mystic readings too. But it works so well for me just to sometimes just pull a few cards to help me navigate. Just if I'm feeling like I'm like, I can't quite put a name to how I'm feeling about something. And I pull these cards out and it helps me get to the nitty gritty. So I've been really just tapped into my own decks, my own creation of, just I always encourage folks to create decks, even if they don't want to market them or sell them or anything. Create your own working deck. And also, even if you use your handmade materials and not necessarily going through Make Playing Cards or Printer Studio to create the decks, you make the decks. It really imbues your energy, your psychic, intuitive energy into that creation. And you really, in my experience, I really deeply resonate with my own decks that I make because the keywords are inspired by my intuition, by my experiences, by my view of the world. So, yeah, I always say that, like, make your own deck. So, those are two Oracle decks that have really been just rocking my world, amongst many others. I use so far, I've touched or used actively in readings or journaling or just doing soul work, 33 decks this month. I keep track because I'm that anal. I'm that anal, friends. Sorry for the noise too. I have a fan on, even though it's rainy, it's still, warm. So I meant to say something about that earlier. Now I want to talk to you all about tarot, the tarot decks. Another one that I don't always pick up on, but I had a beautiful reading experience with it. It's the Naturescapes Tarot. I will have a full, I'm pretty sure I did a full flip through of this deck, but oh my goodness. It's, as you can imagine, naturescapes. Here, look at Three of Cups. I was called to use this in a client reading. I needed inspiration because the client wanted to know what's in store for them in terms of a move to a more beautiful or peaceful place near a body of water. And so I felt the call or the tug to use this deck. And I'm glad I did. Here's Page of Pentacles. And it reminded me how much I love working with it. Chariot. Yeah, see? And so again, it just speaks to my aesthetic as a reader. Now, as a collector, my aesthetic is, it's varied, it's eclectic. But as a reader, I know I always typically go for, pictures and, you know, that's just what I like. Photorealism as well. Five of Swords. Collage is two because it's got like generally speaking, people depicted, even if it's broken up in bits and pieces. Here's the Four of Wands. So yeah, and here's Strong. So beautiful. I love this deck. So totally enjoyed working with this deck this month for a client reading. And I kept it out on my reading table like the rest of that week just to work with it and just touch it and spend some time with it. Keep it in this little bag here when I'm not working with it. Okay, moving on to the next tarot deck, which is the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I love using this deck this time of year. I'm recording this May 29th, 2024. The artwork's by Joanna Powell Colbert, and the deck or guidebook is written by Letitia Guthrie. And I just felt the call to use it. I used it for a collective reading for my members, and happy I did. Here is the guidebook. Y'all know I did a whole tarot study, a free tarot study. We even revisited this deck. We did a revisit tarot study of it, and I really got to know it and fall in love with this deck. And that means a lot to me because I'm not like, I don't have like a green thumb. That's why y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, you definitely need some help with your landscaping. You're gonna have to hire someone. I don't have a green thumb, and that's okay. I'm a work in progress. So I didn't know if this deck was going to work for me before I started doing the tarot study. And many of you who have been with me a long time were in the Facebook group, the private Abundant Life Tarot group. I mean, you can join it, it's not like that, but you know what I mean? It's a private Facebook group. And we worked with this deck. And by the end of the second tarot study, I was so in love with it. And I usually use it spring and summertime. That's not that you couldn't use it throughout the year. You totally can. But that's just when I'm called to use it. So I use this deck and I'm planning on using it more. Just speaks to me. I really like it. I mean, I really, really, really like it. Just the aesthetic of it, the way it feels in my hand. It is slightly larger, but it's not and yielding. Like you can really work with it. At least I can. Some people trim it. Here's the Tower of the Mushrooms. Ah, Valerian, Eight of Water. Love, love, love that association. Camellia, Temperance. Here's the Star. I'm not going to do a full flip through because I have a whole playlist devoted to the Herb Crafters Tarot. Like, if you need direction about the Herb Crafters Tarot, let me know. I got a whole playlist for you. Four of Air, Lavender. It's like coming home when I work with this deck. And that is so telling for me. When you spend time as a group or solo, one-on-one, or like paired up with someone studying a deck, how it helps you to get to know it a bit better. And by the end, either you really know you really love it, or you like, I better pass this one on because I don't know if I'll ever connect with it. But you won't know until you really work with the deck. So that's the journey I went through with. I was like, I love the artwork, it's beautiful, the guidebook is cool, okay, but will I be able to work with it? Will I ever be able to use it? And I yeah, I can say yes. This is one I'm happy I have in my collection. That is the hanged one, burdock. But I bet you, had I not gotten to know this deck in the way that I did with all of you, and you know who you are, my day ones, where we studying tarot together. We got to do that again at some point in the future. I just can't do all the planning by myself. I can't be trusted. Three of air, echinacea. But we really got a chance to get to know it. And we also had a magical experience with the hoodoo tarot as well. So that was interesting. I'm trying to think. Those are probably my favorite tarot studies we did as a group. So anyways, we'll stop there because like I said, I've done a few flip throughs of this deck and pairings and tarot oracle combo videos and all the things. And I'm going through all of the cards or the suits and the courts. So that is the Herb Crafters Tarot. Now, continuing on with that, let's talk about the Gaian Tarot. I have journeyed through the Gaian Tarot. This is the Llewellyn edition. I sought out the Llewellyn edition. I did not want the red feather one. I just didn't. And yeah, so I lucked up and got the edition that I wanted. And I think at that time, it was a few years ago, I paid $60 for it. It says a vision of hope and healing. Now, the reason why I want to talk to you all about this one is because I had a profound moment with it as well. And it is created by Joanna Powell Colbert. Sorry for the glare, who did the artwork for the Herb Crafters Tarot. So this is one of my favorite decks, all-time favorite decks. And some people probably might be surprised by that. But it just is. I love the energy of the deck. It vibes with my vibration, maybe because the creator lives in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know. I just love it. And I did something with it. I was practicing bibliomancy with the Bible. That's what I normally do bibliomancy readings with the Bible. But something told me, and I can't find it now, something told me to do a bibliomancy reading with the Gaian, journey into the Gaian Tarot for a client. She was asking about how to get out of debt or how to manage her debt. And I'm trying to find the card. I thought I had it just readily available, but of course I don't. But anyways, so I said, I'm gonna see what it do. So I did, let me see. I cannot believe it's just not there. Sorry guys, I think I saw it. You know how it is when you're searching through 78 cards and it's just not gonna cooperate. I found it. So I did this deal. I thumbed through and landed on whatever page and passage. I just closed my eyes, thumbed through, and landed wherever it was. So in this case, I point to the star, and then I read that passage as guidance for the querent. But what came up for her was I turned to bindweed, which is traditionally the devil. So it says life out of balance is the key phrase. And I just read the passages of what came up. And then post like reading after doing the interpretation here with the guidebook, I did it backwards. I went to the book first, randomly picked out the card, and then I looked at the image. And I was able to discuss with her, with her all the different ways at which she has bound herself to this debt and all of the possibilities of how to detangle herself from the situation. And so to that end, I was like, wouldn't it be cool to practice with a few folks here on the channel with bibliomancy readings? And yeah, we could certainly use the Bible, but I had a somewhat triggering experience recently with the Bible and bibliomancy. And if you're a member and you watch my ancestor, we have a series called Working with Your Ancestor series that I've been actively adding videos to. And recently I did bibliomancy with the Bible and I had a moment. So I said, well, I would love to still do bibliomancy, but let me try it with guidebooks that I really love. And this is one of them. One of the reasons why is you've got the key phrase, you've got a lot of information here about the card. She says here, the previous card, Temperance, reminds us to live a balanced life. The bindweed card depicts a life lived desperately out of balance. And she goes into what's going on with the figure. The figure is in despair, bound to his own addictions. He sees no way out. His internal struggle is reflected in the world around him, where non-native invasive plants and birds crowd out native species, causing a severe imbalance in the ecosystem. And so she goes into further detail about the image, but when you think about someone who's in debt but wants to get out of it, has been going through a lot to do that, and then this card comes up, at first you'd be like, oh shoot, that's not a good card. But actually, when you read all that comes with the card, it's profound. And it was trippy to me that my finger landed on the bindweed card. And so it says, when you get this card in a reading, so that's one of the sections, ask yourself, what holds you in bondage? What in your life or around you takes more than its fair share of attention, energy, and life force? What are the roots of despair? And she had been going through a major life change with, separating, divorcing from her spouse. And she's had a lot going on. So the first and foremost is she has to give herself grace. But all of that was coming through with the text here. And deepen your understanding of bindweed themes, life out of balance, free yourself, ignorance, bondage, oppression, materialism, addictions, despair, limitations. This book also goes into the symbols depicted in the image, which is so cool. Not every guidebook does that, and I love when it does. And then this guidebook offers journal prompts. It says, what holds me in bondage? What is out of balance in my life? What consumes too much of my time and attention? I mean, it's so forth. And so I won't read all of the prompts, but then there's a guided affirmation associated too. So you can find your favorite guidebook. It could be an oracle guidebook, but you want something juicy like this that could you could easily kind of thumb through and turn to. And then something juicy in terms of its message, and go through the card interpretation that way. Start with the guidebook first, with bibliomancy, and then end up in cartomancy by studying the image. I hope that makes sense. But I'm hoping to do this for a couple of you, like where we just get together very soon in a live stream. And you could either have a question in mind, or you could just ask for divine guidance, from spirit. And I'll just pick up a book and go at it and see what we can share with you, what the divine wants to share with you. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up. And that's it, friends. That is my month in review. It's long, huh? It's a lot going on. But I will be back for more lives, more hangouts with other people on their channels, or having people come on mine. That's in the plan. I'm still just kind of taking it easy. And don't forget to let me know in the comments what you were loving on this month. And yeah, take good care of yourselves. Do me a favor, please. Please, pretty please. On your way out, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It means so much to me that you all are still hanging out and being a part of the Abundant Life Tarot crew. So take care. Bye for now.